last year. And it caused me to have a real battle with him. It really did. And I was really blown away. I didn't understand what was going on with me. So August of 2020, I started to have some health issues. And I started to kind of track it all and try to, figure out what was going on. So I started to, I made my doctor's appointments. And I had to get exams and tests and all these things. And they couldn't figure out what was going on with me. But so they sent me to specialists. And when I went to the specialist, they found abnormal cells. And so when they found the abnormal cells, they were like, it's okay. It's not really a big issue. We can do something about that and you'll be fine. We're not concerned about anything huge or anything. So I'm trusting doctors and I'm like, okay, just go about my business, do what I need to do to get what I need to get done, and I'll be fine. So they said that I would have to have, after multiple scans, after really battling with the doctors and telling them, no, there's something wrong. And you're not going to tell me that it's just fine. Something is wrong. I know myself, I know my body. So when I went back to the specialist, they said that I would have to have a hysterectomy. So I was like, okay, cool. I've had my kids. I'm older now. I'm cool. I'm good. I don't want any more babies. We can do this. Let's do that. So when I went in for my pre-op, they said because of the test that I got before and the abnormal cells, they wanted to do a biopsy. So now you say biopsy. Wait a minute. Because why do I need a biopsy? So they said they wanted to check for cancer to make sure that it wasn't cancer. So, and again, they said, but we're not concerned, it's just a precaution to make sure that there isn't anything there before we do your hysterectomy, because if we do your hysterectomy and that's not what you need, then it's going to set you back. Okay, cool, let's do this biopsy. They did the biopsy, and sure enough, it came back saying that it was precancerous cells. So, okay, precancerous doesn't say cancer, so okay. So they said, but we're going to do another biopsy so we can get more tissue so we can see what's really going on. So they did that, and it came back saying that I did, in fact, have stage 1 cervical cancer. So that really, blew me away. I legit did not think I would have cancer. I legit thought that I could just have this hysterectomy and just go on about my business and be fine. And now you're saying I have cancer. And if anybody has ever heard the word cancer to yourself, you would know that that would absolutely send you into this place of darkness. And that's exactly where I went. I went into a place of darkness. Now, if anybody knows me, I'm a guy's girl all day, every day. and radiation? No, like I'm not okay with that. I don't want to do that. I literally said to my family and to myself and to God,